Well, there has been some questions about the conversion of the OM606 engine in the W115. It's same in the W114. So I do a little movie. Excuse me for I don't know all the technical expressions in English. I'm born and raised in Sweden, so we'll see. You have the picture to look on. The car, it's my first car actually. I got it 31 years ago, 1990, from my father. Drove it for a year and then stored it in a barn and put it out last summer together with my daughter that's turning 16 today. Dream I always had was to do a true sleeper of the car, and now I'm on the way, I think. So here is the beauty. We're now in the more interesting parts. I'm walking through the engine bay. It's a quite straightforward work to make it fit. The question often is it hard? It depends on your skill level. It's quite easy if you can handle a welder and a grinder, but it's pretty tight, so it's definitely not bolt on or something. So I take you through what I have done. So I use an intake manifold from the OM606 NA that's modified. It fits with a turbo intake as well. Here is one part that's pretty tight, so you can change and modify the intake. I changed the master head cylinder instead to one with outlets on that side, on both ends. And the vacuum clock, I believe it's called, it's just turned around, twisted 180 degrees like that, so the intake for the vacuum is on that side instead of that side. So it's you don't need to do any modifications, just turn it 180 degrees around. I use 3-inch tubes, an intercooler in the front, the electrical fan, another radiator. It's quite yeah, I have a 10 millimeters in front, so it's work. I have no steering servo on this car, so I don't have it. So the belt is shortened. It's 950 millimeters, and just for the water coolant pump and the generator, I'm using the stock tensioner. So that's working. And another expansion tank for the cooler, catch tank for the breathing outlet for the car. The turbo is an Holset HX40 with built my own quick spool valve. It's works really great. Another part that you need to modify is the outlet for the cooling pipes from the QP heater. One of them you need to cut and weld in a 90-degree turn on, because it's too tight otherwise. So that's actually the main parts in the engine bay from above. I will put the car up a bit and we can take a look under it. Well, now we have a look underneath the car. Start in the front. I mounted the cooler for the gearbox. I think I will move it higher up and mount a bigger one. If you look on one of the more interesting parts that you need to take care of, the oil pan, you can't use, or you can, but it's the easiest is to use an oil pan from an OM606 that was mounted in the W115. It has a bigger radius, so it fits around here. You can also use an oil pan from an OM603, which are almost the same. And you also need to take away the little bulb on that part there. If you move back, you need to do a cutout on the subframe here, down all the way, and you also see it here. If you move back, I use an automatic 722-626, one of the more strong ones. I use the stock part from the gearbox. You just need to do a small cutout here in the front to make it fit. Of course, the shafts is not a stock one. It's a thick one from a W115, and also moved the bearing for that one. Use the off gear to the gearbox, and it works best if you have an external speed sensor, and this is just a standard Mercedes inductive gauge mounted here, and it works really well. Use an 3.5-inch downpipe. You need to do your own engine mounts. I have also done my own exhaust manifold. It's quite tight to make it fit. In front you can see there is the generator, so you have about 10 millimeters there. Another thing to think about is when you mount a motor, you need to have the generator in place and also the starter engine in place, because you can't fit it up here from underneath outwards. If you've got it, you need to put out the motor and start from the beginning again. In the back I have changed to the gear ratio, so it's from an V126 247 with a limited slip diff, so it works great. And the fuel system, it's a catch tank. I will show that later, because the stock pump was not enough, and when you accelerate, if you have less than half tank, the diesel will stay on that place and it will just suck air. So here you have one pipe that pump the diesel up to the catch tank. I will show you the catch tank later on. I have modified the front brakes. It's 4 caliper brakes from R107, and it's ventilated discs, so it fits, but you need to modify the mountings. So it's doable, but it's a little bit of work. Here you have the generator from the other side. I have some millimeters here as well. Well, I'll say the oil cooler is mounted here with a fan. Maybe not the best place, but it works. And well, we're now in the trunk. As you see, you need to move the battery. It's not enough space in front, so it's now in the trunk. You have the catch tank for the fuel. So you have the pump it up. I use an Aeroflow black. It's an I think an Australian or Chinese copy of the Holly black. It's much cheaper and it works fine. So I'm in phase 1 of the build right now, so I have got all the technical things to work. I will put down the car in molecules now, fix some rust, and redo the paint job of the whole car. So this is how the hoses will be done. So this is just for testing.